Hey, did you know we're also on Spotify? You can listen to No Offsides on Spotify while you're busting out reps in the gym, driving to your next tournament, mowing the lawn to gain brownie points with your wife because you're always gone at tournaments, or while you're getting in some much needed shooting and stick handling practice. So if you're into multitasking, make sure to follow us on Spotify, where you can listen to all of our awesome content on the Spotify app. What's up, Rink Rats? It's Woody. I'm here to tell you that this week's episode is brought to you by Champion Hockey. If you're looking for quality wheels, sticks, bags, and apparel, then look no further. Champion Hockey has everything you need to look and play like a champion. Check out top-of-the-line Legacy Series sticks and wheels and upgrade your game without breaking the bank. Go to champion.hockey to purchase your gear now, and make sure to check out Champion on Instagram at Champion Hockey to stay updated with products and events. Champion Hockey. Look like a champion.
No offside.
All right, well, welcome back to another episode of No Offsides, where we like to talk hockey. Sponsored by Champion Hockey. I'm Dan Dean.
I'm Justin Wood.
And these are our guests, Champion Trash Pandas owner Erik Hersh, and I was told to introduce him as the jabroni goaltender Gizzi. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for having us. How are you guys doing?
Good. So, this is take two, but we talked about, why is your social media channel so popular?
I think it's just the range of what we post. Some days it's just a regular championship roster post, stats, schedules, and then other days it's like I want to Photoshop someone's head in. I want to make a video of them doing something stupid. It really just varies on whatever we're in the mood for that day, because everyone loves the good old Photoshop faces. We have one buddy of ours who probably once a day he'll Photoshop everyone's faces into a video of just something stupid. So usually that'll make it onto the page.
Nice. The best part about them too is that it's not clean.
Never. Never.
No,
Can't
I love
be.
it.
Is it the touch and cut from like an iPhone?
I honestly have no idea what he uses. I mean, me and my buddy, the GM David, we use like the Snapchat stickers a lot of the times to Photoshop people. But we have one kid that like he gets these videos and he'll throw like a picture of like Gizzi doing like a split dancing at some place, and he'll have like just the most convoluted things that you could think of. He will send once a day.
Yeah, I mean, when I know that I started following y'all when my brother started playing for you, and I was like, what the hell is going on this channel? I was like, well,
I love it.
oh, it's great, but you have to like adjust yourself, because like you're like, all right, it's they're trying to it's a tournament team, or it's just at first you guys were like just like a men's league team, right? And so you're like, okay, like this is a men's league team, but they have all these followers, and it's all their posts are ridiculous. And after you like gauge it, you're like, oh, this is kind of funny. Professionalism goes out the window fast.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's not as fun. Like if you just post like the same old rosters and schedules and stats like that, of course you have to have that stuff. But I'm a person that, I mean, I love playing, I love hockey, but I also like the fun aspect of it, having fun with the boys, making fun of the boys. Like I eat that shit up. So I'll always like have something ready to post, something to go, just to bag on someone.
Now, there is also a lot of shit talking in your DMs.
Yeah, it usually is how it goes when you got, I think he just hit 67. We have the oldest roller hockey player probably ever to play. Jimmy Dean, I don't know if you heard of him or not, but probably
Sounds
the
like
oldest guy
nobody.
to sum up.
Sounds like a nobody. I mean, you guys should probably drop him to free agency. No one's going to pick him up.
We've tried. But Gizzi, for some reason, wants to keep him around. That's the problem.
I don't know. He hasn't been playing defense lately. We might have to cut the cord on him.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you got to cut the umbilical cord, because the guy's just gonna mooch off you for as long as he can. But so I'm interested, right? Because you started out as a you were a men's league team, right? I mean, how did Trash Pandas altogether start?
Giz, you want to answer that one?
Oh God, yeah. So we started out just a few of us playing at the park outside near our houses on our feet. We never skated. We never did any we never played organized hockey really growing up. And got to give him a shout out. Our captain, Mark Hafner, he kind of came up with part of the idea, designed our first jerseys. And we really just started out as like a goofy men's league team. Every season we'd go 0-8, 0-8, 0-8. Being a goalie, for me at least, I was always told to just, fill in whenever I can for every team that I can, starting out just to kind of make connections. And, as the years went on, I would fill in for literally every team possible. I'd play 4 or 5 games a night. And then a lot of these better teams started to fold or their players weren't happy. And like here and there, we'd kind of pick, a couple guys from each team. And, the Trash Pandas, it took years and we're still trying to grow. But it's really just kind of crazy how it all happened. Because I don't think, at least me or any of us really thought we'd ever be playing the level we are playing, even though it is minor PIHA, from a E-League men's roller team to this far. I don't think we ever really imagined that.
Yeah, and I actually have a funny story because my first run in with y'all was when it was called Tab Ramos, and before it came Highline, and so I was home visiting. My brother's like, "Bring your stuff. We'll put you on my team." And I'm pretty sure he played you guys on one of his teams that was terrible, right? And so my brother likes to infamously play in lower divisions so that he can do most of the work.
Got to pad the stats,
Yeah. Well, I've been on him for forever to like, dude, why don't you just go play in the draft league? Like, sure, play on like other teams, but like play in the draft league and like do something different. And eventually did. But part of the story was like, the only reason why I know it was y'all is because you can't miss the Erik Hersh cage, but like the cage push out,
Yep.
right? And the glasses,
Yep.
right? So I
Can't
knew
miss
it was y'all after my brother started playing for you, and I was like, oh shit, and I was like, I almost fought you guys.
I do remember this story actually. I don't know if Gizzi could remember this, but I remember this game. We played you guys, and this was probably maybe like 5-6 years ago, and we stunk. I mean, like Gizzi said, we were 0-8, and I remember we got like absolutely annihilated that game. I don't think we touched the puck the whole game. I think it was like an 8-0 clean, and we were just pissed at your brother too, because your brother's sandbagging in the E-League, skating circles around us. But I'll never, yeah.
Well, I remember the chirps too, because I wore my Aces stuff.
Yep.
And you guys were like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck are you wearing?" Blah blah blah.
Sounds like us too.
So I mean, the reason why I brought that story up is because Gizzi kind of went into the evolution, right? And I'm curious on how the evolution of like 0-8 went to PIHA.
Yeah. So I would say probably within like the last 3 years, we started taking it a little more seriously. We went from just playing one night a week at Tab Ramos, Highline, or Great American Center now, but we started playing one day a week there, and then we just to get more reps in as a team, we started playing twice a night, and then that eventually evolved to most of us playing like 3-4 times a week with each other, just meshing and gelling, and we definitely saw the improvement over time because over the years we got bumped up to like the next division, then the next division, the next division, and then like Gizzi said, over time you do meet different guys that like their teams fold and they want to join you, so we kind of built off of that. And then about 3 years ago, your brother was actually the first guy to play with us in a tournament. It was like our first tournament we ever did. It was up in Skate Safe, Long Island Premier. It's an awesome tournament. We try to play in it every year since we played that year. But it was the first time I think maybe 90% of our team has ever played a tournament. Your brother was probably the only one that ever had any tournament experience. So we played in that tournament, and somehow it was probably one of the most legendary tournaments in Pandas history, just because it was the most insane performance I've ever seen from Gizzi, because we were getting like completely outplayed by every team. Like they were possessing the puck. We had no idea how to even run a breakout. It was all still new to us, and we tied like minor and semi-pro PIHA teams that weekend. And we actually beat the Grizzlies in the quarterfinals to go to the semifinals, where we lost to the Long Island Snipers.
Yeah.
In the semifinals, and we had no business playing any of these teams or even being competitive. Because, like I said, your brother was the only one that had any of that experience of running like an actual roller hockey plays. So after that tournament, we all kind of got bit by the bug, where we just wanted to keep playing in these tournaments, and we just wanted to keep having fun, because playing is fun, but also hanging out with the boys for a weekend, and just you kind of, you gel together, and it's a lot of fun. So then that spiraled into like we were doing tournaments. Probably 3 years ago, we've probably done a tournament every couple months now, and probably around last year we played. You actually played with us, if you remember. You played. We're still somewhat new to the tournament scene, but you did play a tournament with us down in Virginia. And
not my fondest of tournaments, but yeah.
Yeah. So we played together, and it was around that time where we started meeting different teams and playing different teams that played in PIHA. So we kind of got the idea around then to maybe try to sign up and see where it would take us, if we could get approved to get in. So with the process of that was we signed up. We talked to the PIHA people, and they said, hey, like, we were trying to kind of figure out what our skill level was to get into the divisions, because obviously we're not a pro team. We didn't think we would be a semi-pro team or even competitive in the semi-pro team, because like Gizzi said, a lot of us had that background of playing on feet. Like we're somewhat new to the roller hockey game. But eventually we were told, hey, we're a minor team, so we signed up for the minor division, and that's where we started playing the PIHA section of the minors.
Okay. Yeah, and you're looking at it, right? And is this your first or second year playing PIHA?
This was our first year playing.
Okay.
I mean, we really only started doing serious tournaments maybe last year, was when we played like every possible tournament. Like any regional that came near us, we were on top of it. We were playing there. And a lot of the times, truthfully, like we were still kind of trying to figure out how to play together and really just how to mold ourselves into roller hockey players.
All right, and if you love this show, then you will also love the College Roller Foundation. The College Roller Foundation is a volunteer-run, tax-exempt 501c3 nonprofit organization that exists solely to raise and distribute funds to deserving college roller hockey student athletes in the form of scholarships. The College Roller Foundation isn't a tournament series, league, championship, governing body, or sanctioning agency, but rather works with partners to host events to raise and distribute all those dollar bills to roller players who also like to get their academia on. By raising money through donations and divvying out these scholarships to the players, the College Roller Foundation seeks to grow the game of roller in college. And if you're interested in finding more info, helping out, or donating, please visit www.collegerollerfoundation.com and make sure to follow them on Instagram at College Roller Foundation. College Roller Foundation, growing the roller game one scholarship at a time. It's time to join a revolution in roller with US Roller Cup, a premier roller hockey tournament series. The US Roller Cup is led by a passion for the sport. US Roller Cup is driven to create an unparalleled experience for players, fans, and coaches alike. With a focus on promoting roller hockey at all levels from youth to professional, we are committed to growing the game and fostering a sense of community within the roller hockey world. To find out more information, find tournaments near you, or to sign up for an upcoming tournament, go to www.usrollercup.com and be sure to follow USRC on Instagram at US Roller Cup. US Roller Cup. A revolution in roller.
Okay, yeah, I'm just pulling up like stats and stuff like that, and like standings from Gizzi. It seems like you were the cowbell for for the PIHA season in that?
Yeah, I mean, we had a really good season as a team. Like Eric said, we really didn't know where our skill level was. And a couple teams reached out to Anthony Flynn, and they told him we should be minor teams. So we just said, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So we hopped in, and yeah, we had a really good season as a team. I was fortunate to have some great defensemen around me, even your brother, Mr. James Dean. But yeah, it was awesome. It was everything about it, went well. The travel was awesome. And it was a great experience for us as a whole, like I said in take one, but, we didn't get it in take two yet. I'm actually still in Colorado. I'm in my little cabin right now. I just don't want to leave,
Yeah, I mean, Gizzi, you posted a 12-1 record regular season, 832 save percentage. I mean, Tyler, I got to play with Tyler. Justin and I did not too long ago. He's a great guy, young kid, right? And so he went 6-1 and 800 save percentage. I mean, and looking at your stats, a 241 goals against average is pretty solid in roller hockey. So regular season had solid. You're looking at what was it? That old guy on defense led your team in points, right? Eric, you threw in a few goals and assists. But what I'm interested, Eric, is from what I'm told, is in big moments, there was no ego, right? You were capable of like stepping aside and being like, best line, go out, right? I mean that takes a lot as an individual and like really kind of shows personality of like, like, hey, I want to win, right? So, I mean that's like something that my brother always talks about too, is kind of like Eric's got his shit together most of the time. But like, running the team, you do all the backdoor stuff of like doing anything that needs to be done for the team and jerseys too. Right. So, I mean, my brother can't say nothing but good things about you. And then of course there's just kind of like your DM talk that's just kind of funny as well.
but yeah, with the taking a step back kind of thing, it's like it's important to have those guys that are able to kind of just like know their role. And I think that is a huge reason I think our team really succeeded this season, was because everyone kind of gelled and meshed into what their role was. Like we have like our bottom pairing guys that will show up, and I'm one of those guys where I'll just grind the other team down until those guys can get refreshed and go back out there, and maybe they'll put in a goal. So, and that's what creates those big moments. And then, like it's not just like a one person show. Like we all just kind of bought in this year, and really, I mean, you saw the results because right before we signed up, we actually entered a tournament out in Pittsburgh through Echo, and we signed up for like the AB division just to get some sort of like preseason going, playing against some of these teams. And we actually played against a lot of like pro players, and I mean 100% they outplayed us, they beat us, but we kind of saw that like where we can improve on, and we took those improvements and kind of put them towards eventually what was our PIHA season.
Okay. I mean, looking at it, you have for the minor division, you have four different, I don't know, sections, divisions. It gets kind of weird, right? Because it's the Northeast Division, the Atlantic Division, the Dixie Division, and the Rocky Mountain, right?
Right.
And y'all crossed over between the Atlantic, because you guys were in the Atlantic Division, and you crossed over with the Northeast Division, right? And you'd play most of your division, and then you cross over and play the Northeast. I mean, who would you rank as like, and I know the Sting was with you over in Colorado, but were they kind of your best competition? Like, is there someone that was in your division that is, potentially as good as the Suffolk Sting?
Giz, you want to comment on that? I feel like,
I mean, I think, the Sting, every game we have with the Sting was an amazing game. They were all 1-goal games, except the one game they beat us out of the 5. So, I mean, they were definitely our toughest competition, no doubt. I think. But if you were to say a second team, probably the Gladiators. They they ended up beating us one game, and they had some really good shooters. They had a good core, I would say, of players, and I would say the Gladiators, right, Eric? I mean, is there any other?
Yeah, they were also the fastest. I thought the Gladiators, like those guys, had very similar, like a high level breakout. And our first game we played against them of the season, I mean, they came to play. They beat us 7-2, and that was kind of like a reality check for us because up until then, I think we were like 9-0.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so you're riding a high note. You kind of get gut checked a little bit. Probably a good thing, right? I mean, you look at it, right, and you look at stats between you and Suffolk Sting, and you're talking about when you went to Colorado and everything besides the game you lost was a 1-goal game, and you just look at the stats straight across. I mean, you take their overtime wins, right, and they're 18-2, you're 18-2. You look at goal differential, you're both plus 52, right? So there's really the two best teams made it from the Northeast made it to Colorado, right? But when you look at the Dixie division, you have actually the third place team made it to Colorado, right? So there was like a big change in, where the first place team lost in the finals, I think it was, where the Rebels lost to the Fire Ants, and then the Fire Ants represented. But, based on watching pretty much all your games besides the finals, the last game of the finals, did you think that just the Northeast divisions are just better overall than the other two?
So what I think is, at least this is what I noticed as a goalie. I think that the Dixie division,
Yeah.
Versus our division, I think it's a completely different game. I think the Northeast division and the Atlantic division, I think it's more like run and gun, very fast paced hockey. And then I think the Dixie division, and we only played 2 games against them, right? Yeah. But I think they play a much different pace. Not that that's a bad thing at all, but it's definitely a slower paced, more physical, more grindy out game, I think. So for me as a goalie, that would just be the differences. I faced a lot more shots in the Northeast than I did in the Dixie, but I think the Dixie was a little bit more quality shots, if that makes sense.
Okay.
As a goalie, which one of those two styles wears you down more?
See, I'm weird. I like facing shots. I would prefer to face 45 shots in a game. You know what I mean? I hate the games where I face 6 shots in the game. You know what I mean? Because then I'll give up 2 goals and then I'll never hear the end of it from the Trash Pandas.
Got it right too. Your brother too. Your brother will always chime in on that. If Gizzi could have the best game ever, he lets in 2 goals. Your brother's still gonna give it to him the rest of the night.
Well, I also hear that. Oh, my brother's an ass. So, I hear like he's like. He'll sit there and just start even in between periods, just kind of chirping at you as well.
Oh yeah, I mean when we go to tournaments, right? If we don't play early, like we go out at night. You know what I mean? We're all in our 20s. We all like to have fun. So like if I ever go out at night, every time I give up a goal, he goes, "Oh, Giz, you go out last night?" He loves fucking with me in that way. But like that's just like our thing at this point. But yeah.
Now, you played the Tugboats, right, in the Rocky Mountain Division. It seemed like out of the 4 divisions, they seemed potentially to be the weakest. I mean, is it just a skill gap, or what's the difference? Because their games in the playoffs were ugly at times, at most of the time, I should say.
Yeah, so with those guys, I feel like it's similar to what Giz said, where they do play that grindy game, but it's more of like with the Dixie division, I feel like they play that grindy game, but they're also able to organize like a regular breakout, zone entries, and I feel like with the Rocky Mountain division, at times they kind of lack some organization breaking it out and getting it into the zone. But I will say, like, playing against those guys were not afraid to, like, light you up on open ice if they see you coming. Like, those guys play the body hard. Like, they're hard players.
Love it. I mean, I'm sure it's not fun because, that's. But
oh yeah, I mean, every game we watched of them, they were throwing the body up until the end. The score didn't matter, and that's probably how they made it out there, was because they were such a physical team that they'll grind those teams down. And I think because the Xfinity Sports Arena where the finals was played out of is such a big rink compared to most rinks. I mean, it's right, Giz? It's probably like a size and a half.
Probably bigger than Highline.
Everything's bigger than Highline.
Yeah. It is weird going from Highline, and like we love Highline. Like, I mean, I play there 6 nights a week. Like, we love it there. It's just, it's so different. Like, even as a goalie, like when you go from Highline to another rink, because your angles are so different. You know,
well, you're practically playing at Great American Hockey. You're playing on a European size rink with American goals. Is essentially how I compare it, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And so, I still don't understand how the hell you guys play offsides there. It blows my mind.
Well, we don't.
It's crazy.
So the A division, the men's open A division, plays no offsides. We came to an agreement a couple seasons ago on that. And then, I mean, I play in the Tuesday and Wednesday draft there, and that's no offsides too. But once you get into a B league or lower there, it's all offsides, which sucks.
It's awful.
Hard.
It's awful. I mean,
Especially
it's like,
in small rink.
It slows the game down. So as a goalie, it's like, okay, but as a player, everything is either cross and shoot or cross, stop, and wait for everyone to come to you. And it's just, when I come back to play, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, I mean, I got to skate there when we were there, and we were just kind of messing around, and I almost ran into the boards a couple times when I was going backwards because I would not expect it to be that close. It's crazy.
I mean, it's the rink I grew up on, and I'm actually hearing that they're getting Stillmat now.
Yes, we are.
Which is good because when we skate on that rink, it seems like all the partying that happens on it has kind of warped the tile a little bit.
Yeah, so we are excited that we're getting the new mat soon, and then for the new State Wars, the Fall Invitational, it's coming in November. It'll be in for that, so that'll be awesome.
Nice, that's awesome.
Hell yeah!
Now,
is it nice having all the volleyball girls there?
Well, I play volleyball there.
Yeah, Giz is a dual sport athlete.
Nice.
Yeah, I love volleyball.
Hell yeah!
So let's talk
no comment on the girls.
Yeah, no comment. He's not going on record with that one.
Yeah.
Why do you think he stopped playing Thursdays? He stopped playing Thursdays with us so he could go play volleyball.
Hell yeah!
He's not wrong.
Now,
there might be some incentive there. Okay, I'm done.
Now, we're talking PIHA, right? Let's talk Colorado. How sick is that Colorado Springs rink?
Probably the best rink I've ever played at or even been at. Like, everything was just insane. Like the scoreboard being electronic, where they put your logo on there, and the shot counter. Like that's nothing like what we have around here.
Yeah. Yoder does some good work there at that rink. And I mean, you have the TV in between the benches, and then on each end is a scoreboard as well. That's all electronic.
Yeah,
like
nothing compares to it. And then you have the bleacher setup was awesome too. I had family come out there, so it was cool to have them watch us play. I have family in Colorado, so they took the drive down to watch the weekend. And they loved being in the bleachers, how close you are to the rink. And they even watched some of like the pro games, and they said it was just like such an awesome experience to watch like that level of hockey, that up close, and you can't beat it for that.
You know, I was also told, because we had Yoder on prior to PIHA finals, and I was also told, which the Pandas probably would have never made it through the weekend, but in the pro locker room, there's a beer fridge. So the Pandas would have never made it through the weekend.
Yeah, nope.
If the fridge was available.
Correct. Correct. That 9 a.m. game was tough.
Yeah.
It was a tough game to play.
Well, and I watched that game, right? And I immediately texted my brother, and I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" I was like, I gave him a list, and he's like, "That is everything we talked about." And at the end, he goes, "We're just not a morning team."
Never. We probably never will be, honestly.
Yeah, mornings are tough for the Pandas.
At least while we're in our 20s, we won't be a morning team.
Yeah.
When we hit your brother's age, we might. When we're 67. After the early bird special, we'll go to bed, and then we can wake up early.
Nice.
There you go.
You gotta get your AARP discount. Now, I also heard that you guys had a little bit of a blast in Nashville as well.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't play too much hockey, honestly, out there. Guys were missing for games. We had no idea where half the team was.
That was a hell of a tournament.
There was one game where there was 5 guys on our team. They were like, "Where's the other half of our team?" And they were just nowhere to be found.
Nice. I heard there was a bachelorette party next to you guys at your Airbnb.
Yeah, your brother was pretty familiar with them. As were a couple
I don't
pandas.
doubt that at all.
As were a couple pandas that weekend.
That's kind of the dream, right?
Yeah, they were interesting. They were a unique group. Nice ladies. Nice
Yeah,
ladies.
it was a bachelorette party. I think they were from the
West
Midwest.
Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia. Yeah, they
from
were
West Virginia.
far
They
out.
were
They were
Yeah, they
That's
were
so
something.
good.
they were opening up beer bottles with their teeth. It was crazy.
Oh God,
Some
that's a
hardcore
keeper.
chicks.
It was a crazy one.
Now, before we move on from PIHA, I just got to ask you, how do you like the schedule, how they schedule out their season?
So I personally, do you mean the 4 games and you play once a month?
Yeah, the once a month, you have a tournament round robin kind of weekend, and then you play the next month, or maybe depending on how you're scheduled out.
Yeah, so myself, I love it. We ran a pretty deep bench for that reason. I mean, 4 games in a day doesn't seem like a lot till you're actually playing and you're on the tail end of your last games. I don't think we had a single weekend where we had less than 9 guys. And those games definitely, especially playing in the Northeast where I feel like they're fast, but they're also physical, where by the 3rd or 4th game, you could tell what teams are conditioned for that style of play. So, I mean, I loved it because it was easy to get the guys to commit to 1 weekend a month or 2 weekend a month. It's a lot easier than having to do. I believe years ago we had a buddy on our team that he won in the late or early 2010s. He won semi-pro, and he said it used to be 2 games a weekend back and forth, and you would play another weekend. You're playing 6 games in a month, and you're traveling 3 times in that span.
Yeah, because I had a short little stint, and so it was every weekend.
Yeah,
and so it was it was like travel hockey where it was almost like when you're playing, if you were to play hockey growing up and you're on a travel team, every weekend you were going somewhere, and every team had to have a home rink.
right.
And so if you didn't have a home rink, you couldn't play, is what I think what the rule was. So you would have to have a home rink, and people would have to travel to you. You'd play your round robin games on that day, and then the next weekend you'd be at someone else's home rink. And yeah, I didn't last long because it was a lot of traveling, and I was in college, and it was a lot. And that's why I was just asking, because potentially, if we can get things going down here, there could be another division added. So who knows? Because I sure as shit ain't traveling up north to go play hockey. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I want to know their opinions on the fact that the Dixie is a draft league versus is that every other division gets to bring their own team?
Yeah, so we were able to kind of handpick our guys from our home rink. Me and Giz really got together around July, August, and we were trying to figure out what guys could be that locker room guys that know their roles, and then what guys like your brother that, hey, if we're down, that's the type of guy you want out there to score a goal. So I feel like having that draft style in the Dixie, and I even asked them about it before. I asked them, why is it a draft league? And they said it's so hard to get guys to get together and organize it and everything. Your first couple seasons, I know they mentioned that they want to eventually branch out to bringing in like individual teams. But for now, I think they just had to do a draft style to try to keep that balance and keep guys wanting to compete. Because if you have one team running through everyone the first season or two, you're going to get all those guys to fall off and not want to play.
Well, it's like we were potentially going to put a team in that division, and we were going to take traveling, but we're not going to take all of our guys and throw them into a draft league. So,
yeah, I kind of hate that. I'm not going to lie.
Well, and me personally,
that's how I feel.
Yeah, and personally, I'm like, you're doing a draft team and you're at a disadvantage because you're going up against a team that's been playing. Like these teams that you're playing against are probably playing together in men's league, right? So they're playing with each other 2-3 times a week, like you guys are, for the most part, from majority of your team possibly. And then you're going and you're playing in PIHA against guys that are thrown together. And I mean, they gave you a good run for your money in the playoff game, right? But the first game was, I mean, they got worked the first 2 games of their round robin, right, in Colorado. And it showed because they had, I don't know, 18 games or whatever it was that they played. 18 games is still not enough to gel to go to versus better competition and try and win.
Yeah, you're at a huge disadvantage, right? Because you're picking apart your league. Whereas we can, like, realistically, we can take whoever we want. We could take the 10 best players from our rink, and they're like scattering it. So that's kind of crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, and and that's why, like I said, we were potentially going to put a team in this upcoming season, but I think it's still a draft league, and our guys are not interested in that. So either we get our rink set up and we create a whole new division, or it becomes a non-draft league in that division, and maybe we play in it. Who knows? But because I mean, their schedule's a little wonky too. They're playing like 3 times a month.
Yeah, I did. When we look at their schedule, I do see that they're playing like they start their season in like November and they run until January. So you have to pretty much streamline. What is it? They play 15 games, I think it is. They have to streamline those 15 games plus your playoff games in a matter of 3 months. And then you also have I think their playoff series was a little bit different. They did best of 3 for semifinals and a best of 5 for the finals, while ours was just like best of 3 for the entire playoff weekend.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of games that you have to get guys to commit to and play, really.
And they play on it's technically an outdoor rink where it's just got a roof over top of it. So they hit a lot of rainouts too.
Yeah.
And they were actually forcing games to Sundays. So not only are you committing to Saturdays, but you're committing to Sundays as well, which could have been, and I don't know, I didn't really look into it, but it could have been the reason why the top team took such a big hit. Not sure. I could probably ask around. We play against those guys a lot. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I'm with all of you. It's just, to me, it's a disadvantage to just, it's fun. Like, I get it. It's introductory seasons and they take a couple seasons to get more guys interested. But however many seasons long it takes, you're at a disadvantage. And it's unfortunate. But I guess if you have fun in the process, then so be it. Yeah. But on the outside looking in,
So if you guys were to bring it down by you, would you have it where you just submit your teams and you guys play each other, and then you could kind of pick your team built around whoever you want it to be built around?
Yeah, I mean, because we bought one of those Pittsburgh rinks. Our league did that we play them, and so we're still looking for a place to put it. And when that time comes, I will reach out to the Yoders and see what can we do, because they were talking about doing a North Carolina, South Carolina division, because they potentially have 2 teams in South Carolina in South Carolina, and so we might be able to form something. And I think at that point, I think it would have to be you bring your own team because of the so far spread out. Whereas all the Atlanta guys live in and around Atlanta. And so like, we play against those guys that are in that division all the time when we go down for Echo tournaments or any other tournament down in Georgia, right? So those guys all know each other. It would be like essentially taking your A or gold division, whatever you want to call it, that you have, and taking guys and piling them into 4 teams. That's essentially what it is. It's their house league teams that are just guys like, yeah, I want to play in this, and then they drafted them. So, yeah.
Well, boys, I don't mean to interrupt, but I do have to go to work.
Well,
it's all right, Giz.
It's been a pleasure. You guys are awesome. My little Devils plug. Let's go, Devils.
Well, not that poverty franchise.
But I appreciate you guys having me on. And hopefully we get to play soon. We got to get down there for maybe an Echo tournament or something. We can link up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Gizzi, good seeing you again.
You too, boys.
See you
Have a good one, guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm still showing.
Yeah, so Eric, you guys, I mean, what is the future for PIHA? I mean, you guys have plans, right?
Yeah, so our first season, I mean, it exceeded all expectations, really. And it got to the point where we probably have about 30 guys interested in joining next session. So we decided that those guys that want to join, you know, a couple of them are close friends of mine. So I told them, hey, you guys could 100% get a team together, get your guys together. And the next steps is obviously we're getting moved up to semi-pro next session. Our team, me, Gizzi, your brother will not be a sandbagger. He'll be forced to play semi-pro next season. So he'll be playing some really good competition in that division. And then we're taking I think we have about 30 guys, splitting them up, and we're going to have 2 minor teams, I believe, is the plan for next season.
Nice.
So
That's
definitely
awesome.
looking forward to that, because I do think we are working on also trying to get a weekend at Highline to do a festival there, which would be really cool to have the experience there where we could have all 3 teams out there and playing at our home rink with the bar upstairs. And, you know, Highline's like our home, so we always love playing there.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys held your first the Champion Pandas Ironman.
Yeah, so we hosted an Ironman at the Great American Center at the beginning of January, and it was our first tournament. I mean, I had no experience running a tournament. I mean, I see Echo run tournaments, Premier, Tour, State Wars, and I kind of just took a little bit of the blueprint from that. And then I know Gizzi has played in a lot of Ironman tournaments being a goalie. I've probably only played in like 1 or 2. I am not a fan of them myself. I get winded in like a minute, so I'm ready to get off the bench. So for me, it's like Ironman's like 12 minutes playing straight is no good for me. But so we hosted one, and Gizzi kind of set the rules together. He was marketing it like crazy. He was going to Great American Center every day trying to get teams to sign up. I was trying to get teams to sign up. So we had a really good turnout for our first one. I think we had about 13 teams sign up.
Okay.
Or maybe 14 teams. I think we had 6 in the A Pro division, whatever you want to call it. We had a cash prize in that division. And then we had 4 in the B and 4 in the C. And we still keep getting asked when the next one's going to be. And it'll be in the near future, probably before our seasons get on the way. But it was definitely a cool experience to be able to host something like that. I also learned that I'm not a ref. I had to ref that weekend because a couple of our refs had bailed last minute. So I threw on the stripes. I'm horrible at it. I called a penalty in the championship game. Some guy took a slap shot near me. It was ugly. So I learned my lesson that week, and I'm not being a ref anytime soon. So.
Oh man.
I've retired from reffing several times.
Yeah, after that I'm a little scarred. Called the penalty. It was a blatant penalty, and the next thing I know, he's like, "Are you kidding me?" He took a slap shot at me.
Throw him out.
Yeah.
I would have tossed them.
I tried. The other ref told me, he said, "We can't do that." I said, "What do you mean we can't do that?" He's like, he's like, he was an actual ref. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll go with your call, but you got to get the game under control.
I know. I mean, shooting a puck at a ref, that's intent to injure.
Yeah.
Yeah, get into attempt to injure and unsportsmanlike, and just getting rid of them.
Yeah, should have thrown the book at him, but I mean, it was still a great event. Like, I'm good friends with the guy who did it, and he felt horrible after. He even played with us throughout the season for PIHA, so he was just lost in the moment.
Even
I
better.
mean, I probably shouldn't have called the penalty in the championship, let it play out. But
it's a penalty. It's a penalty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
you
a
gotta
tough
call
call to make in a championship, but
He shouldn't have done it.
I know.
What was
and
it?
then
What was the call?
he was holding someone's stick, like wrapped around on the ground holding it. And I said I had to call it, like no matter what. I mean, the guy's trying to stick handle, and you're on the floor grabbing his stick, so he can't.
Yeah.
So.
Now, the Trash Pandas are now linked with Champion Hockey, right?
Yep.
I can't even keep up with how many jerseys y'all have these days, anyway. Right, and so you guys unveiled your new jerseys, pinstripes.
Yep.
I mean, who is it? You that does all the designing, or do you just throw it to the champion and like we want pinstripes, and then they just come up with it?
So it's a little bit of both. We did these jerseys kind of based off of the Arizona Diamondback style, where they wore pinstripes in like the early 2000s, and they had like the similar writing on the front, and then some logos on like the sleeves and the shoulder. So we kind of based it off of that, and I sent it to Champion. I said, hey, do you guys think you could do something similar to that? And they came out awesome. Everyone, whenever we play against people, they're always like, that's like the coolest jersey, because the only time you really see pinstripe jerseys is obviously like you have like everyone knows like the Roadrunners have their pinstripe jerseys.
I love their pinstripe jerseys. Their pinstripes are my favorite.
Yep, definitely.
And everyone else does them wrong.
Yep. There's some teams. I know there's another team. I think they're called Buzz. I think they were the yellow
the Buzz.
Yeah, they do like the yellow and brown pinstripes, and I love those ones. But I know there's certain teams that do it right. We wanted to make them as obnoxious as possible. So we had like the teal on the front. We have like all these different color clashes on there. And then, so we originally got those because we have State Wars coming up tomorrow, actually. So we wanted to do something a little bit new for like the new tournament season. So we wanted to start wearing them for that. And then everyone from the Pandas was like, oh, I want a pinstripe baseball jersey now. So it's probably going to end up being our away jersey for PIHA next season, just because they're obnoxious and we're all obnoxious. So it kind of suits us a little bit.
I mean, I'm surprised you don't have like your men's league jerseys, and then you don't have jerseys that are like that specifically for PIHA.
Yeah, so we do have an original. This is usually the logo we'll use for our men's league. We used that's like just a regular raccoon. We've been using that one. Then I know Gizzi had a hat that was the other logo.
Mm-hmm.
Usually our purple jerseys, our purple and gray champion jerseys, is mostly worn for either our men's league team that all play PIHA together, or for our PIHA team. But we try to keep it like certain jerseys for certain teams. Like we're probably going to allow the other two minor teams to kind of design their own away jerseys, whatever they want to do, just to make it a little more fun to have. It's still going to be a Panda jersey, but they kind of have like that creativity. It's like their team. They could do what they want with it.
Are you funding all these jerseys?
Oh, no.
But
we always get asked though. Whenever we're playing, I always get asked, how many different jerseys do you guys have? Because we do have like 4 or 5 jerseys now.
So yeah, it's up there because I mean I remember the OG jerseys, the purple ones with the old raccoon on them. I mean, why the Trash Pandas?
Yeah, so I know Gizzi gave a shout out at the beginning, but we actually kind of came in a little bit later. We met the captain Mark Hafner. He kind of brought a couple of us in, and then they already had the name set as the Trash Pandas, so we kind of just took it and ran with it, and we kind of incorporated it into like any sort of hockey we play.
Okay.
I know a couple of the other guy, John De Silva. He actually has a tattoo on his thigh of the original logo. So he's got
dedication.
I know Gizzi has the original logo on his right here on his shoulder. He has a goalie mask with the raccoon in on it as well. So
okay.
Heck yeah.
I mean, I guess they got to go watch him play volleyball when he has his shirt off to be able to see that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to see that, but
but yeah, I mean, because you even have the default champion jerseys with the panda on it too.
Yeah.
Because I know my brother has been complaining that he didn't get his pants yet.
Oh my God! If I hear him complain about those pants one more time, every time I see him, did you get my pants? Did you get my pants? Well, he wants like a size extra small, so I don't even know if they make an extra small. He wanted like some crazy size.
What?
They're gonna have a custom size for him, I think.
Well, I don't know. The he's sitting there saying he's trying to take my poster boy status. And I said,
I don't think he's even close.
He's too ugly.
Soon. He's got one more year left. I think he said he's pulling a Brady.
Yeah, he's got too many wrinkles. He's old.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You look at it and you go, damn. Champions going to spend more on a makeup girl than they are, hiring me.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to do a whole day dedicated to getting him ready.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta get a makeup department, everything.
You're gonna have to get a pack of cigarettes. You're gonna have to hit up the dispensary. Like, he's expensive.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Trust me, he is an expensive date. I know.
But he hooks everyone up.
Yep.
How's everything been with Champions so far?
Awesome. I know they just released the Legacy wheel, so a couple of us were rocking those in Colorado, and they were really nice. I mean, I loved them. That Colorado surface is a little bit dusty, a little bit slippery, and I know a lot of our guys were complaining about it, but that weekend, I mean, I didn't have any problem moving out there. Stopping, starting was pretty easy. Their wheels are always top quality. I've been using them now for probably going on 2 years. It'll be soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, I could definitely the Legacies that I go out there and I usually just skate around and go like one leg turns and I'm like, oh, I'm not usually there's some sort of wobble because I'm like, I don't want to slip, but the others I'm like, okay, now it's even more difficult to I gotta get used to them.
Right. And the grip on them is crazy because I mean I've had a pair now probably for 2-3 months and they're still gripped to the surface like they did the first day. Like, it's insane how durable they are too. So
yeah, and I talk with Chris all the time, and so I keep trying to. You should try and get on the boat. Try and convince them to make the Bauer 4500 mold and rename it because we need it back.
Yeah, we were actually in our group chat. A couple of guys went to get new skates, and they saw that I guess they have a new purple helmet out, CCM helmet.
Yeah, I saw that.
So everyone in the chat was saying that we should get the 4500 back and then have it panda purple. So I'll definitely get on them for that because we wanted to do and it was never going to happen because it was such short notice between winning regionals for PIHA and getting to Colorado. But we wanted to try so hard to do purple chrome helmets for Colorado just to be so obnoxious.
Yeah, I was going to say, your guys' game is obnoxious.
Yeah, we really wanted to do that. But, I mean, maybe next season we'll be having some purple helmets because they did look pretty cool, especially with the jerseys. And I know all our guys were like, well, where do we get those? And some guys were like, well, bring back the 4500s, the old Bauer helmets.
Now, did you find a place to get them done at?
So CCM makes them regular purple helmets. Like, they produce them regular helmets. I know if we were to go the other route, it might be a little pricey having to have it customized a little bit. Because we did look into that. To get the chrome purple was like almost impossible, especially to get it done before you leave for Colorado and hope that there's no errors with it. So it's a lot of turnaround to get it done. But who knows? Maybe next season we'll revisit.
So would it be order it custom with the chrome purple on it, or would it be buy a helmet, like a white helmet, and then have it painted on?
Yeah, so they don't do the chrome purples. I looked everywhere for it. They only do chrome gold. They do silver. They do just like kind of pro stock helmets.
Yeah.
They don't really do like a regular chrome purple. I mean, I saw a couple customizations of it, but I couldn't find. I looked for so long. I probably spent like 2-3 days just trying to find it, but there's no luck. So then we kind of
you're gonna have to find a body shop or like a painter that will just do it themselves.
Yeah, because I know Gizzi got his helmet actually customized for Colorado. So he used a guy to have a couple little purple stripes on it, like purple chrome stripes and some silver on it. So probably be giving that guy a call in a couple months if we want to go back to the chrome purples, because I think that would just be so funny.
It would be hysterical. You guys might get in more fights than ever if you went on the chrome buckets.
It's usually your brother starting them, though. That's the problem.
Of course.
No, never.
I'm not surprised.
It was the other guy's fault, though.
It always is, right?
I mean, he was cranky at one of the tournaments we were at, and he wanted to fight the ref because the ref made a bad call.
Is that who went off on you?
Wait, what?
Asking Eric, is that who came after you? Was it Jimmy?
Yeah, it might have been, honestly. He's always talking. That's the problem. He's always chirping someone. Doesn't matter what the score is. We'd be down by 5, and I'm the same way, so I get it. A couple of us are always that same way. Like, we'll run our mouths no matter what the score is, and we just play hard. Some guys respect it. Some guys hate it. Because we try not to be, we try to tether the line between being dirty and clean. And I think we do play that clean game, but we do just play like a very physical. I mean, a lot of us are big guys too. I mean, half our team's over like 6 foot. So, I mean, it's definitely,
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I am curious about though, is about the other Trash Panda team that popped up, right?
I've heard about them. I actually saw they signed up for a Tours regional down south.
Ooh.
I saw the team list for that.
I thought, aren't they like aren't they?
They were like a Florida team, I believe, like around that area, like Missouri.
I thought they were like a Chicago team, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think they're from like that. They might be around like Missouri, Chicago area. I know they played at some Florida division. But I did see on Tours posted like the regional team list, and I saw there was like a Trash Pandas team from like Missouri there. And I know there's a couple Trash Panda teams. A lot of them that follow us are usually ice guys. We always try to like coordinate logos sometimes with them. Like if they have logos they don't use, they'll send it to us. So it's all love for those guys. But as for that roller Trash Pandas team, I think we got to arrange like a Panda Cup.
Well, and that's what I was getting at. I want to. Like winner takes the Pandas.
Yeah, I mean, get US Roller Cup, have one division, the Panda division.
Hey,
the Panda teams just play the whole weekend.
I mean, just do a best of 7 Panda Cup, right? I'll talk to Jake.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to make it down there to the next US Roller Cup too. That's down there because that's one of the only places we really haven't been. Is like down by you guys, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta. I know Echo comes down to Atlanta a lot, but we haven't had the opportunity to go down there. And our guys are always trying to, like, the best part about our group of guys is they're always down to go anywhere. We always travel pretty heavy. We usually have, like, for Colorado, we were like the only team that had like 11 guys on the bench, 2 goalies. Like, our guys, like, they love traveling. We love this shit. Like, it's never a problem getting a head count because you always have somebody that wants to play.
That's awesome.
And you're always able to add guys too, it seems like.
Yeah, we've never really had much of a shortage. We have our core 5 or 6 guys that play pretty much every tournament. Your brother, unfortunately, is usually one that plays pretty much everything with us. Gizzi's usually always the goalie, and we always have like John DeSilva on D, Kurt Kroper on forward. It's usually about the same 4 or 5 guys that will play pretty much every tournament with us. We've traveled to Pittsburgh, Nashville. We go to Long Island every other month when it gets into tournament season. We do all the Marples, the State Wars, Narch. We do all those. And I think this year we're going to try to make an attempt to go down and play tours in Florida. I know you guys played there last year with your brother.
Yeah, we'll be going back. So
yeah,
it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I heard the rink's awesome out there. It seems like it's that similar style to the Colorado rink. It might not have the technology it does, but just seems like the tile and
their ice. It's a 4 ice rink complex, and they take 3 out of the 4, and they put tile I think they put the tile on some of the rinks on top of it, and so it's definitely a sick setup because it's just roller on all 3 rinks.
Right.
And there's a bar restaurant there too. So you guys aren't winning the games because you guys are in the bar. So
You guys might go missing and be stuck at the bar upstairs. It happens.
and there's hotels like right next to the rink too. So you guys are just gonna stumble out of the rink and stumble into the rink.
Yeah, I think that was our plan to do our big trip because we like to do one big tournament every summer. We wanted to do 2 this year, but we didn't really expect to have to go to Colorado for PIHA. So obviously, that was our priority, which we're not complaining about, of course.
No, not at all.
We wanted to do tours in Narch in California and try to make the trip out there, and a lot of our guys were down for that. But once Colorado came into play, we were like, yeah, we're all going to Colorado. So we really had like a full roster. We had 11 guys eligible for playoffs, 2 goalies out there, and then we had 2 guys that travel with the team, play on the team, and they're just on the IR, and they traveled out there. So we had like 15 guys piled up on the bench that weekend. So it was definitely a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you had teams. Shit, there was a semi-pro team in the finals that had 4 guys.
Yep.
4 or 5 guys, right? And they guessed. I mean, obviously they gassed out, right? So, I mean, it's just all depends. I mean, some teams load up and win their division, and then they can't travel. So you just never know.
Right. That was what I really admired about like us and the Sting was I think the Sting had the same exact situation where they had like their full roster out there. It was awesome to really have like you can't go back and be like, oh, like we didn't have this guy there, they didn't have that guy there. Like it was really like a best on best style tournament where you're playing like their best group versus our best group.
Yeah, and like I said, PIHA is just I'm going to call it off-season roller because everyone calls in-season roller pretty much June through August, right? So it's your off-season roller for y'all. If you guys do state wars too, so it's like you guys, it's your winter, keep you guys going at high competitiveness, get you guys in the tournament season. I mean, it's for guys who don't go to college or they're done with college. It's some high quality roller to play. So, I even pitched to PIHA, even lower division, which would because there's, Echo does like the club division and the other smaller tournaments do club division. And that seems to carry a lot of weight for tournaments. Right. And so I was like, hey, you could add probably another division everywhere by just doing club. Rename it whatever you want.
Yep.
And boom, you got more people playing because you just, it's not going to be potentially the best hockey, but it's more people dedicated to the game.
Right. And I think in the instance of club, once you get, I want to say past Virginia, club is pretty much non-existent in the Northeast. It's really just AB, AA, AAA pro. And I know like there's so many guys that want to play like that club style, but there's not really that much of like an opportunity for them to really be able to play it. So I know that if they were to add like you said, like a club division, because I would say minors probably high bronze, low silver level. Semi-pros probably silver, gold, and then pros just platinum. So I mean, having that extra club division would definitely probably bring in a decent amount of teams that just want to travel on the weekend. I mean, that's a lot of the reason guys came to me and said, hey, can we do a minor team next session? Because, I want to travel with the boys. I want to have fun, play some hockey. And it is competitive hockey. Like, we have guys that played NCAA, they played ACHA. Like, they wanted to still play, like, competitive hockey. And there's really not many opportunities left anymore. So, I mean, PIHA and State Wars and those types of tournaments is really all those guys have left. And you see, like, a lot of guys that transition from playing that competitive ice go immediately to roller when they graduate. So,
yeah, because it's either you jump into men's league, and there are ice tournaments out there, but it's kind of like you look at it and you go, there's more. I would want to say that there's more opportunity, especially close by, for roller tournaments than ice hockey tournaments, right?
Definitely.
Which is just Jesus Christ, getting blinded. But and you look at it and you're like, if I can play more higher competition in roller, why not? And that's what kind of drew me to the staying with roller and not playing ice too. Is like, It's a completely different game, but I can go almost every month if I wanted to and go play in a roller tournament.
Right.
Whereas if you go and you look at it, there's only a few people running ice tournaments every so often.
Right. And I would say those ice tournaments are never as big as like a State Wars or a Narch. Like there's not like a household real ice tournament outside of like maybe like the ones in like Canada every year, but there's nothing like State Wars, Narch tours where you get almost 100 teams that will fly out there and play the whole weekend. Like there's so many more opportunities I feel like for roller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you look at it too, right? In roller you have the big three tours, Narch and State Wars, right? I mean, you have once a year Wish Cup, which is coming up in June, and then now you're gonna have USRC as well that had a cash prize of $10,000. So you're talking 5 tournaments that are gonna be potentially huge, right? So it starts from the end of winter all the way through spring and into the end of summer, and you could play the highest of competition throughout all of them. So, I got a question: are you doing USRC when it goes to Long Island, or are you going to do State Wars?
We haven't decided yet. It might just end up being we put in a team at each.
Okay.
Because like I said, having that club division, and that's nothing like we have up here, is like getting a club division is almost impossible at any of these tournaments. So I mean, having that opportunity would definitely, I think, would bring more of our guys to want to play in that. And it's probably going to end up being like a 50-50 split because we have like 45 guys, which will probably narrow down to like 25 want to play. So then you have to find what teams for what.
Yeah.
So, I mean, usually when we have like a club and bronze division, those types of divisions, we'll usually end up sending like 2 teams and then figure it out from there. But most of the time we're ending up having our teams play like 2 club teams at the same time, and they'll end up playing each other. And it's always fun to watch them play each other because they're all guys from the same rink and they're all friends. They grew up together. So I always love doing stuff like that. But yeah, we definitely, and I love Skate Safe. I think it's at Skate Safe, right?
Yeah, it's a dual rink one, yeah.
Yeah, I love the schedule there. I feel like having the 2 rinks is so beneficial on like scheduling and time because you don't have to worry. I mean, we're trying to get out as quick as possible and go out. So that's the big thing for us. So once games start slipping behind is when we start sweating a little bit.
Everyone gets thirsty.
Yeah, that's the problem. You got Gizzi trying to go somewhere. You got your brother trying to go to bed. It's always a disaster.
Yeah, he does be getting cranky, that's for sure. Now, but the question is, you know what you guys did to him, right? When you guys went to Nashville, you guys got him so tired for being out too late that he fell asleep with a jug of milk in his hand.
Your brother?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. He was tagging along with us wherever we went that weekend. We would go to every single bar, club, no matter where we went. We always saw your brother tagging with us, and you were out there for a little bit with us too. You were hanging around.
Yeah. Did you have you seen his spread on what he eats?
I've not. Honestly, I didn't even know he ate.
Yeah.
I only see him play hockey and that's it. And then he's in bed.
That's because he runs on nicotine and coffee and fucking marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And then he and then at night he just overindulges. And it's usually if you don't get him like an actual meal, it's cookies, milk, like it's just trash. So it fits in because Trash Pandas, he just eats nothing but garbage.
I've not seen it yet. So now next time he doesn't like to stay with us because sometimes we stay a little bit closer to the bars, and a little bit farther from the rinks. So he usually prefers to stay near the rinks. Sometimes we're 30 minutes from where the closest bar is. We're right next door to the bar, but yeah, we might have to drive 30 minutes to the rink to make up for it. And no, he hates that. Because he always says the running joke, whenever we're playing in PA, he always asks me, he said, where are we staying? Are we staying in New Jersey still? So sometimes we're like 45 minutes away. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah, he's a little cranky pants. He's a fucker.
Well, you've talked about something, kind of alluded to it a few times, and it's something that I want your opinion on. I can't directly share it, but I'm sure you've seen the Tiger Woods and John Daly memes, right?
I've not actually.
You've never seen these?
No.
Well, there's the famous one, and it's like, Tiger Woods dressed all proper, ready to play.
Yeah.
John Daly sitting there smoking a cigarette.
Yep.
It's my favorite meme where it's just Tiger Woods is labeled ice hockey players and John Daly's roller hockey players. I want your overall opinion on the roller hockey culture and just kind of what that all entails.
Yeah, so the roller culture as a whole, I think it is. I don't want to say it's not as serious, but I feel like you get a lot more fun with it. It's like the style of play is a lot more fun. Guys are doing, I want to say, almost more creative things out on the rink, and then it's a different style than ice. I mean, I grew up a roller player. I mean, I played roller as a kid, and I never really transitioned to ice. I played ice maybe 2 years in high school. I was horrible at it, so I gave it up rather quickly. I knew I wasn't going to the NHL, but there is definitely a different style because I feel like roller players, they kind of get better on their own playing outside. Like there's more of a chance of a guy that started at like 15, 16 or as a young adult becoming like a good player versus ice. I feel like roller, it's more about like the fun and the love of the game, and it's like I don't feel like it's not that it's not taken seriously, but it's like guys just go there and they go there just to have fun. It's more of like a community where everyone knows each other. Everyone, you see the same guys at every tournament, and you get to know them over time. And whereas like I know Dan said that there's not that there's the big now I guess 5 tournaments where you're seeing the same guys for all these tournaments, whereas for ice you don't see the same guys. So it's like roller, you're going out partying with like guys from different teams that you see like 2-3 times a year, and it's definitely I think a different culture. Not that it's I mean we kind of developed it into a party culture within our organization. We're always trying to get into something.
I think that's cool though. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why you guys are able to have such a huge pool of guys to pull from. Is you take the game seriously, but you also take the team and the camaraderie very seriously.
Right, yeah, because like I know Gizzi said at the beginning, we have guys that grew up playing together on feet, and then you have guys that have been playing their whole life. So you have like that different group, that different background, and we all kind of just get together and we play an hour every week together. We play on 5 different teams together. We joke around. We got guys in their 40s playing with us. We have kids that are still in college playing with us. So it's like such, and then we have, of course, we have a guy 67 years old. I mean, he's the one of, but we have him as well. So it's such a wide range of age. But whenever we play a tournament, you'll have literally everyone coming out, hanging out with each other, and it's like a giant just camaraderie, and it's really a lot of fun. That's what makes it so rewarding having those types of tournaments, is because like you get to see all your boys playing together, whether you're on their team, you're watching them play. Like this weekend for State Wars, we're sending 2 teams, and we're already trying to plan where we're going to go out Friday night after our last game, and we're all going to hang out somewhere and have a blast. So
that's awesome.
Well, it's just like even I mean, looking at just all the chirps, and that's why I started scrolling through our private messages, and just the shit you guys say about each other is just hysterical. What was it? I can't find. I was trying to find what you said about Tyler. Like when we used him in Long Island, and you were like, "Fuck him, keep him. He's cut."
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Usually,
Right.
if Gizzi misses a game, we always tell him, don't come back. Whenever we win the game that he misses, he's missing our championship tonight. If we win that championship, he's gonna get a text 5 minutes later. Thank God Gizzi wasn't in that. Like it's just like a part of it,
Nice.
Obviously, you want him there, but we always have to give him shit for missing.
Yeah, I mean, we have God. Some people we just don't want in the group chat. It gets weird, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you always have those guys, but then there's some guys that just you're the guy that doesn't shut up, the one that says the weird stuff. You have the guy that is too serious. Then you have the guy that's always behind on the group chat, right?
Yep.
So you have all these.
You said it, and the names popped into my head right away.
Yeah.
You got the guy answering the you said the game schedule in the chat 5 times, and he'll text you on the side, "Hey, what time's our game?"
Yeah.
You always have those guys, but that's what makes it fun. You always got to rib them a little bit, give them shit.
Yeah.
All those different guys is what makes the team too. So
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm not. Never mind. I was gonna ask who their bill is, Justin, but it's just too much.
Do you have anybody who sends text to make sure that you guys piss is clear?
No, we
They don't pee clear. They party too much.
Yeah, I mean that's not even an option for us. We just kind of let our guys do their own thing. Like I said, in Nashville, we had 5 guys show up for a game. So if that's who shows up, that's who shows up. But at the end of the day, it's all for fun. So.
I mean, listen, you had the one guy in Virginia that showed up hammered from fucking brunch on mimosas.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, that guy's dead to me.
Yeah, we had a couple of guys. I'll never forget that. They came back at the house at like 3 a.m. I was in bed, and I wake up and I'm just hearing horrible sounds from outside. There's 3 guys all in a circle just throwing up over the porch. And I was like, we got an 8 a.m. game. And like I'll take it as seriously as I can when like it's a playoff game. Like if it's a playoff game, we all try to have like somewhat of a curfew if it's like a big game. Like for PIHA, I think everyone was like in bed at like 10 p.m. I mean, your brother was in bed at like 6 p.m. He was ready to go. But we try to set those types of. But he and then he went to brunch the next day and was still slamming mimosas, throwing up everywhere. So that's just the culture, unfortunately.
That guy's dead to me. He's dead to me. Now, did you ever hear the story about my brother that didn't know there was a time change?
No, I'm not. But now I have to hear it, of course.
Yeah, of course. Right. But I'll say this story and then we'll go to rapid fire, Justin. And so Jimmy's first time going to Nashville, right? And we're like, we're talking about the time frame, like, oh, we gained an hour because the time clocks go back an hour, right? And he's like, the fuck you guys talking about? We're like, dude, we're in Central Time. Like it's 7 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 6 o'clock here, right? And he's like, no, it's not. Stop fucking with me. And we're like, no, really. Like, it is an hour back from the East Coast. He's like, dude, I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. Like, you can cut the shit. And we're like, no. So he looks at his phone. And he goes, it's 6 o'clock. We're like, yes, 6 o'clock, like Central Time. He's like, well, let me Google this. So he Googles it. And he's like, oh, shit, you're right.
Oh, that's a typical.
Oh.
He's I don't know if you remember we played in Virginia when he was maybe we went to Virginia another time in the summer and we had like our semifinal game and we're halfway through the semifinal game. We're like, where's Jimmy at? Like the game's almost over. And then we finally in the middle of the game, we see him like rush in, run in the locker room. There's probably about 10 minutes left in the entire game. And he was like, oh yeah, like I just forgot what time the game was at. Gets changed in like a minute, goes out there, scores the game-winning goal to go to the finals that weekend. We're like, dude, that's the one thing that always gets me going is guys being late.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As someone that runs the team, and that's probably the only time I've really ever seen Jimmy not ready to go. Because usually he'll text me 5 times. Are you sure the game's at this time? I guess probably from that story, is his perception of time has been off ever since. Because he'll text me a decent amount. Or what's our schedule? When are we playing? So ever since that one game, though, he's not been late. But guys that are late always drive me crazy when they show up like halfway through the game. We had a guy on Tuesday. He showed up in the last 8 minutes of our men's league game. And I'm like, dude, why'd you even come?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what gets me too, right? These guys are like, "Oh, I'll be there for the second period." It's like, no, don't show up.
Yeah.
You're gonna ruin any sort of chemistry we got going.
Yeah.
So, but Justin, you want to hit him with some rapid fire?
You ready for this, Eric?
I am. I think so, at least. We'll see.
All right, don't think about it too much. All right, the first one. Explain your game. What do you go for out there?
It depends on who I'm out there with, but I think the type of player I am has evolved a little bit, especially playing higher level tournaments in PIHA. I think I play more of a grinder game now, but just because I'm so tall, I'm not on grinder, but I play a grinder game. I started using my body a little bit more playing that. You got
That's a
it.
good one.
But I started playing a little bit more physical because I always get yelled at, sometimes by your brother, that I'm the tallest guy out there and I play like the smallest. So I've definitely tried to evolve my game because I mean I'm 6'3", I should be like barreling over guys, and then I want to say I have a little bit of that finesse game. I mean my shot's horrible, but if I get in close enough to a goalie, I mean I don't know if Dan remembers in Nashville when your brother gave me the puck right in front of the net.
I was so pissed at him. So pissed.
I still, to this day, I always let him hear about it. I'm like, why'd you think I was on your team? I remember Jimmy was down low and I'm in front of the net, and he just looks up, gives me the puck right alone, right in front of the goal, and I just did one deke and tapped it in.
I was so pissed. So pissed. We had a, as they like to call it here, our New Jersey pep talk.
Oh yeah,
which is when
Those
we
are
just
famous.
where Jimmy and I just start yelling at each other. So
That's my favorite.
But yeah, I'm definitely, my type of game is I'm not a finisher at all. I usually try to give the puck to someone that I know is going to finish. I try to pair myself with someone I know is going to finish because I don't have the shot.
well, and you know my brother, when he's mad, right? So he's just going, just anything that comes to his mind, he's just throwing out there. And he's like, "Why don't you fucking score?" And I'm like, I'm not even gonna say anything. I had 2 goals at that point, right?
Right.
And so he gets to after the game, afterwards, and we start talking. He's like, "I didn't know you had 2 goals." I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I told you, Jim, to get your head out of your ass."
Typical, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it also crosses off a different question I had, which was, what are some changes to your game? Let's go to something totally different. What do you think is the best pre-game meal?
So I'm like, if I'm leading up to a game, I won't eat. So I had an incident, and it scarred me for life where what I might have had like tacos or something before a game. And it was still like a couple hours before the game, so I thought I was going to be good. But then, in true Trash Panda style, I started slamming down the iced tea vodkas before the game. So I show up to our men's league game. We have like 5, 6 guys on the bench, and about halfway through the game, I just start just yakking for like 5 minutes straight. It was brutal. So like ever since then, I'm just like scarred to eat. So
you don't think it was the vodka?
It probably was, but now whenever I
Maybe
start to feel it coming up when I'm skating, I always think back to that. And I was just hunched over. We had one guy on the ground that took a shot to the leg, and then I'm throwing up. It was a disaster game.
Damn. I'm the same way, though. I don't like to eat. All right. Why, or you can give me one reason, but one reason why roller is better than ice?
So my type of style of play is I love just being able to skate up the rink and maybe pull off like a nice move to get past the guy. I feel like in ice, with the offsides, with icing, the pace is a lot different. I love the pace of roller. I like the setting up behind the net, killing the clock. Like I like the strategies that go with that versus ice. It's kind of just you have to touch up the offsides. I mean, I grew up playing roller, so for me, it's like that type of pace is always so much more fun. I mean, it's the creativity that comes with it too. I mean, the NHL definitely has the last couple of years have developed that creativity. But I know roller. I mean, as far as I was a kid, you have guys like Nasher and Pavel Barber that were doing all these crazy moves on roller, and kind of that's kind of like what your inspiration is as a kid on growing your game and like that creativity. So for me, it's always the creativity and the pace.
Love it. What do you think is the proper amount of physicality that should be allowed in roller?
I think anything along the boards is that type of physicality along the boards. I think open ice hits, I think it's a little hairy because it's always a little bit harder, I think, to stop on roller than ice. So you're gonna expect guys to try to maneuver around open ice hits. But I know for PIHA, they usually allow you to play a little bit of the body along the boards. I know especially for like the finals games, they were really just letting us play as long as anything wasn't too blatant. It would just be regular boards plays. You could throw guys into the boards. It doesn't have to be anything dirty, anything malicious, but just trying to rub guys out and wear them down for the rest of the game is I think that's the appropriate amount of physicality.
Cool. What do you think the best sports film or show ever is?
I guess, I mean, the cliche answer, of course, is Miracle, but I'm a big Goon movie guy. The Goon movie was always fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because you always have a couple guys on your team that think they're from that movie and think they could fight like Doug Glatt. So it's always fun to watch those guys try to reenact Doug the Thug.
Well, I also feel like the Pandas is like your typical like choose 69.
Yep.
You know, I that's what I picture. You know, some of the guys on the Pandas, right? So
yeah, we got a couple of those guys that they want their jersey number 69. I try to stay away from that because you don't want to be a total douche out there. I mean, we're already bad enough, especially if we show up with chrome purple buckets. But yeah.
Do you think that still mat is definitely like totally superior to normal tile?
I would have said no probably before PIHA, but after playing so much on still mat, we played it in Nashville, and that was the first time I experienced still mat tile because up north there's really only like just regular tile at like Skate Safe, Highline, Inman, all those different rinks. But still mat, I think, has a little bit better of a grip. I think the puck slides so much better on still mat. So I would say after playing on pretty much, I think 75% of the rinks we played on for PIHA, especially for the finals and playoffs, we're all still mat. And I think that we were able to kind of change our game to that type of style because the puck flies on that still mat. And that was something that I know we always had to tell Gizzi because, I mean, he never played on still mat. I never played on still mat up until like a year ago. So like that puck will fly 5-hole. Like if they keep it on the ground, it's flying. So it's definitely a different style, but I love it myself. I mean, that's why I'm kind of happy that Highline's transferring to that type of tile for at least the future.
Very cool. Do you have a go-to chirp?
I don't. It's just whatever pops into my head. It's usually something stupid. I mean, when I was in college, my go-to chirp was whenever some guy's playing the body on you, I would say to him, "You want to kiss?" or "Come kiss me," like just like nonsense like that. Because you get guys that are like in their 40s and 50s, and they're like, "What the hell is this kid saying to me?" Like, I got like some 18, 19-year-old kid asking to kiss me, and like they get all like, "Oh, why are you saying that, you little shit?" So that always got them under their skin. But now it's just really just stupid things. Like we as a team always just have like the dumbest things will come out of our mouth. We got guys saying, "Oh, they got bananas for wheels," like just stupid stuff. Like we always say, "Go kiss him" whenever some of the other team has the puck and we're chasing after him. You got John on defense saying, "Go give him a kiss, go give him a kiss," which just means to go try to forecheck him. But the other teams are just like, "What the hell are these kids saying? Go kiss him." So it always gets under a couple team skins. That's always probably been the most consistent one over the years. It's always some sort of kissing joke or touching them or just something weird just to really make them come to the bench and say to their team, "What the fuck did that kid say to me?"
Yeah, play a little mental game.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. What do you think the most important thing is to keeping team morale up, kind of getting everybody rallied?
I think it's just being able to joke. Like once a day, there's a stupid inside joke going off in the group chat, or we're all bagging on a different person every single day. We try to run with it. Whoever says something stupid first that day just gets bagged on the rest of the day, and no one knows who it's gonna be the next day. But you got all the guys excited to get going on that, and then of course the partying, going out. Like that was the huge reason a lot of our guys wanted to play PIHA, is that to have that travel experience and be able to kind of go a little bit further than just playing at like our usual home rinks. So being able to go party, and you get guys that maybe you weren't as close with, but you start rooming with them at hotels and hanging out with them. They become close friends, and then it's a whole experience with them, as Dan knows from his brief stint with us.
Well, because that transfers over. That chemistry transfers over to the rink.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we'll have guys where we just bag on, and then at the end of the day, though, they get into some shit. We got guys that will flatten them out, get in fights in men's league over these guys. Like, at the end of the day, we're all such good friends with each other. I mean, we see these guys now 4 or 5 times a week. We're traveling with them once a month, so you kind of you're forced to become close friends with them, unfortunately. And being friends with Jimmy, I mean, maybe he's dropped next year and I could finally cut that friendship, but we'll see.
Oh, you're stuck with him, man.
I know.
He's like a damn wart, and you're just not getting rid of it. It's so deep in your skin that wart remover doesn't work.
I will say, though, I do bag on him a lot, but I always will respect him for that one weekend where it was our first tournament ever, and he knew what he was getting into, and he probably hated playing that weekend. But you know what? The next weekend's come around, he says, yo, can I play with you guys? Oh, I want to play. But I always respect him for that because we were not by any means a good team, and we hung around with some really good teams.
Well, and at that time, he was kind of getting back into the game, too.
Right.
So, he turned his life around and kind of I was like, have him come out and play with us. And he was out of shape, and now you look at him now, and he friggin' flies.
Yeah. Yeah, I always have a soft spot for him for that just because he was 100% the best player on that team. And we had no business hanging in that weekend, but having him and Gizzi kind of put the whole team on his back, like I always respect him for that because, a lot of guys after that weekend, they might just be like, oh, I don't want to play with these guys. Like, they stink. But for him to come back and then he was playing PIHA with us, he plays pretty much anytime. Like a club team needs a team, like a player last minute. Guys always drop last minute. I know Jimmy's like, all right, I'll play on 2 teams. I'll do this. I'll do that. Like he's always one of those guys where he'll just play. You'll never. You always can count on him to play in a tournament, to play in a game. There's not too many times where you're like, where's Jimmy besides that one playoff game? But he really is like one of the most reliable guys. So he's probably played in just about every tournament with us.
You get rid of him, right? You don't give him the pants.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm holding out for. He's going to keep coming back for those pants, and they're just going to keep going missing.
As soon as you get rid of him, that's when he'll end up with pants somehow.
Yeah, right? He'll play against us, and he'll have those pants, those panda pants.
Mm-hmm. Well, man, one more question. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Did you have fun?
I do. Did I have fun today?
Yeah.
Oh, this was awesome.
We really appreciate you being on here, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
we love what you do with your organization.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, having guys like you that repost us and support us is always a plus. I mean, you guys help us grow as much as anyone else. So I always appreciate that. I mean, we post our nonsense, but we also post like our serious rosters, our stats, our highlights. We try to keep it, professional for like that aspect, but we do like to have fun. We always respect pages like you guys that are always showing us support, no matter how stupid some of it is. We end up on some of these pages. Like I know for when we were in Colorado, we all took a stupid picture of us. I'm sure your brother knows about the bathtub or the hot tub picture, Dan.
Yeah, I've been told about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we right when we got to Colorado, the first thing we did was 10 of us hopped in a hot tub together, and we took a picture and we just posted it as like a joke. And then next thing we know, it's on like the PIHA page.
Yeah.
They're like reposting it, and we're like, shit, teams are gonna think we're such like freaks.
Yeah. Good. I mean, they might be afraid to go in the corners.
Yeah, exactly. but it's that type of stuff that keeps the team together, and that's what it's about. It's so much fun doing stuff like this and just growing the game as a whole.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you guys, you made our, we won. The one thing was can't have my brother on. So, and you abided by that. So we thank you very much for that. Maybe one day, maybe we'll see.
I was secretly hoping that you'd take the green screen down and he was just sitting behind you. I was praying for it.
Yeah, right.
He goes to bed too early.
That, and he can't shut the hell up either.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've asked him to play 7 p.m. games to fill in for men's league, and he's already like, I'm in bed. So unless it's like 5 p.m. game, he won't show up.
Yeah, he's old. But
we'll all be there.
Yeah. Now, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you talking champion Trash Pandas. We congratulate you yet again on winning
Hell yeah.
PIHA Minor, right? And so for all of our viewers out there, if you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button, leave a comment in the chat. You're always free to leave comments while we're live. Make sure to follow us on Spotify so you can get the updated version when we release it. And if you're forechecking roller hockey, don't let up because there's no offsides. I'm Dan Dean.
I'm Justin Wood.
Eric, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great night.
Yep.
You too.
Peace, everybody.
No offside.